My next claim is Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans.
Again, every single claim here. What were we dealing with Charlie? Like trans women are not women, I think was one of them. Abortion is immoral, I think was one of them. I don't remember some of the other things that he brought up, but actual things that you can sit down and go back and forth about. Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans. How is one supposed to argue that? And first of all, okay, well, I'll go ahead and we'll pull this up because I already have this. I know this is a prompt. Patriotism, a feeling of love, devotion, and attachment to one's country or state. And you're going to say that Democrats have more love and devotion for America than Republicans do. And you can actually track this with like Pew Research studies or Gallup polls where they straight up ask people, are you patriotic or would you describe yourself as being patriotic? Both Democrats and independents track lower on patriotism and love for one's country and devotion for one's country than Republicans. And outwardly so, asking them to their face, are you patriotic? They will say no. And of course, Republicans say yes at record rates. So I don't even know how you can defend the point that Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans. If you even think about it from like just anecdotal, how many Republicans have you seen like, if this candidate wins the election, I'm moving out of America, I hate this country? How many Republicans do you see burning American flags? We can feel these sentiments among the two separate parties. But even if you need to look into research and listen to polls of actual Republicans and Democrats, you will find that Republicans track more patriotically than Democrats do. It's just not even a question.
I'm sorry. I'll let you go next. I'm gonna be quick. Hello, sir.
I would love to talk to him. Hey, welcome back down.
Okay, just for everyone's sake, I want you to tell me why you support your claim, and then I'll leave, and people can yap at you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like this guy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
He's only conceding because he knows that's what you're going to do anyways. He's like, go ahead, tell me your example so we can get this over with, and then other people can actually come and give you actual arguments.
So yeah, I think that Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans because Republicans are currently platforming Donald Trump. And Donald Trump had attempted to launch a coup on our federal government in an attempt to overturn and rig the results of the 2020 election. And there's 4 reasons I say this.
It's crazy because now if you even, like I said, if you even ask Democrats, they won't define themselves as being patriotic. In fact, they kind of view that as a dirty word. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them say that that's a dirty word. Showing love for one's country or showing devotion to America is nationalist. It's loyalist. And they don't like that sentiment in the Democratic Party whatsoever. So this is going to be just amazing to watch him argue that Democrats are more patriotic. And I think the claim, he's just putting it out there to bait people and get them triggered over the claim itself rather than to actually defend his idea that Democrats are more patriotic.
The reason I say this is Donald Trump capitalized on the January 6th riots to pressure Senate to postponing the vote. The second reason I say this is because Donald Trump sent fake slates of electorates to 7 different states to cast fake certificates of ascertainment.
And we've already thrown out this argument. Blue Blazer did that for us.
Into college to be certified as real by Mike Pence. The third reason I say this is because, well, he pressured Mike Pence into signing those fake certificates of ascertainment. And the fourth reason I say this is, well, this process of trying to circumvent our civil and electoral processes and literally trying to rig the outcome of the 2020 election is a direct threat and attack on our government and on our democracy, and it is ignoring the voice of every single American citizen that voted in the 2020 election. You and everybody around this room and anybody at home, if you voted in the 2020 election, Trump tried to make your vote null by installing fake certificates of ascertainment to make himself the president again. Okay. And that is
just bring up Blue Blazer if we're going to have to replay the whole thing that we just watched over like how many minutes ago now?
The worst internal attack that we have had on our country since the Civil War.
Okay, I don't agree, but you guys can vote me out now.
Real quick on ignoring the voices of the electorate. How about Kamala being a candidate that was selected and not primaried for the first time that I know of in American history? How does he feel about being represented in that process? That seems a little bit anti-democratic to me.
And how does he feel that the DNC has done this time and time again? They did it with getting like Amy Klobuchar to drop out so they could usher forward their candidate. They did it with Bernie Sanders, who was largely supported by the Democratic Party and by Democrat Americans. And the DNC just completely steamrolled him for Hillary Clinton. So do they track as being patriotic?
Hello. Nice to meet you. Okay, so really bold clear statement that Democrats are very patriotic. Let's talk about the actions of the Democrats being very glorious and loving our
Dude, I'm just like, if you brought in 50 Democrats and 50 Republicans into a room and just asked them, can you say right now that you love America? Can you say the words, I love America right now? You'd probably have 50 Republicans who are capable of saying that statement and like 0 Democrats who are willing to even say that out loud. And you're trying to argue that they're more patriotic? That's wild to me.
Well, I would like to clarify.
Yeah,
My
clarify,
claim is
please.
not that Democrats are very patriotic. It is that they are more patriotic than Republicans, but I apologize for interrupting you.
Okay, no, but I would like clarity on what are those actions, because in my understanding of Democrats being really patriotic is destroying the nuclear family, burning down flags, burning down buildings. I mean, we see just destruction in our cities. Did you see the trash and all the homelessness going out in LA? What is patriotic about supporting all of that? What is patriotic about supporting all the drugs that are coming in, all the things that we're allowing, the human sex trafficking, allowing all these things and policies going on? Like, what is patriotic about that? What screams "I love America" of people?
You said that Democrats support, right?
No, I'm just asking, what are the patriotic acts that show? Because what patriotism means to me is kneeling for those who have sacrificed for our country. My father has served 30 years in the military, right? That is 30 years that he is not getting back, that he has fought for his country, laid down his life for. What is patriotic that the Democrats are doing, that are saying, hey, I'm gonna lay my life down and not be egotistic and individualistic, and I'm going to serve and look out for others, look out for the next generation? What is that? So that's what I'm asking, to make that statement clear. What does that look like at the Democratic Party?
And the issue is that he can say, I don't view any of those actions as being patriotic. And then you can just go back and forth over actions that you view to be patriotic that he doesn't. And then you could say, what about burning the U.S. flag or kneeling for the national anthem, which is, done dramatically more on the left. And he'll say, well, I think that's them, using their freedom of speech and vocalizing their problems with this country, which is inherently patriotic. You see how we could go in circles all day. What really matters is what happens when you ask people, are you patriotic? And Democrats say I'm not, and Republicans say I am.
I actually think that's a great question. And the answer to your question would be a fight to protect and preserve the state of our democracy. I think that you listed off a whole cohort of claims there that were typically engaged in by Democrats that have been anti-patriotic, such as burning the flag, such as burning down buildings in the riots. And I agree with you, right? I think that those are clear displays of anti-patriotic behaviors. Do I necessarily disagree with them all the time? No, I don't think that it's wrong to burn the American flag if it's in protest of actions of the American government. But my claim here is that there's nothing less patriotic than supporting Donald Trump, a man that has already tried to destroy our country internally by attempting to overthrow the results of the 2020.
Okay, I completely understand that statement. I don't agree with that, but
he's only prepared to defend it from that angle. That's what we're dealing with right now, which is why we're going to keep going back to January 6th, because that's how he's prepared, because he's really just trying to hit a trigger point with Republicans rather than actually make the claim that Democrats are more patriotic.
We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about your statement that Democrats are patriotic. So I'm asking about the actions are what, because we can keep tying in Kamala and Donald into this, but they are not the reason of being a conservative or a Democrat. It's the morals, it's the values and the actions that you are reflecting.
Of course,
that you're consuming.
I understand you. And the morals and the values and the actions reflected,
the morals, as a Democrat, as a liberal, what are you reflecting that's benefiting your country?
Of course, great question.
These socialism policies, these individualism policies, these I want to consume, these egotistic policies, these you should worship in closed doors and proximities, don't open the Bible in school, don't say the Pledge of Allegiance. All these things that we see. No, yes, just let me clarify. We'll finish real quick. So all these things that we see, we're being forced as conservatives to shut that down, to be quiet, to be banned. So how are we talking about free speech, freedom of religion, loving, and all this stuff? These are all things that you guys are proclaiming, but
so do you agree with freedom of religion?
Of course.
So then you wouldn't agree with Trump's attempted Muslim ban?
Again, we're not talking about Trump. I'm asking
the Muslim ban was a travel ban from specific countries.
Policies talking about how are Democrats really
Let's go over them. So first, I think that fighting for the freedoms of all 170 million American women by reinstituting federal protections for access to healthcare, that's going to be caring about.
So abortion.
I think that yes. I think that fighting.
Okay. Just want to make that clear. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make that clear because there's a lot of
Okay, do you mind if I finish?
to do that. No, I just wanted to make that clear so I'm on the same page. You can continue.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I obviously think being in a room surrounded by 20 conservatives, you're not going to look at access to abortion as healthcare. I think.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
No worries.
This is a dialogue. You want a good, fruitful dialogue? Let's continue. I'm apologizing. I just.
Sweet. Yeah, and like I understand that there's going to be an ideological separation there, but from my side of the aisle, I absolutely think that this is something that should be federally protected. I think that infringing upon women's right to bodily autonomy, bodily integrity, all because they want to preserve the life of a non-sentient, or sorry, a multicellular life form that doesn't have
Did
the
your mom
capacity to
thought that about you?
Also has nothing to do with patriotism, but let's continue.
She was about to
is
she
not-
thought that you were just some cells.
My mom, when I was where? I mean, it doesn't care what she thought I was that.
So you were just a bunch of cells. So that's what you're just believing in your.
Well, I mean, my particular claim was the reason why I'm pro-choice is because I don't value the life of a uni or multicellular.
But you
life
have
form
life.
that doesn't
so
have
you
the
get to
ability
make that change. You get to make that choice by having life. And someone that doesn't have that voice to say like, oh, that's just a bunch of cells, just abort it. Where does that stand? How is that patriotic? How is that loving America?
Yeah, because it protects access to healthcare. It protects the
Killing
preservation-
babies,
One moment.
killing children. Okay.
Okay, so do you think abortion's murder?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think
I'm
that...
making that statement very
Okay.
clear.
Well, so do you think that some women with IUDs are murderers then? Because it is the case in some contexts. An IUD will allow for conception to occur, meaning there's a unique human life there, but then it will imprint, it will.
No, he did this in the Charlie debates. Now we're back onto abortion when we should be talking about patriotism. So I guess we're okay with just allowing his claim to just like fly freely into the air and not addressing it. I guess we'll go back to abortion in IUDs, whatever.
prevent its implantation into the uterine lining, killing it?
I don't support or believe in any of that.
Well, to be fair, that wasn't the question I asked you. I asked you if they were murderers.
I have no comment on that.
Well, didn't you just say that abortion was murder because it was killing a
Yeah.
unique human life?
Yeah.
IUDs can and do kill unique human life. So wouldn't this make women with IUDs murderers?
Oh my gosh, it's
Well,
so lame.
I, again, have no comment on that.
Okay, well, see, now I could just reflect everything you were just asking me back to you.
Yeah,
How can you
100%,
stand for
but
the
you're
murder
not
of
going to
unique
answer
human
the
life?
question that I have asked you about, again, how are these actions going to be more...
She should not have allowed this to go in this direction because now it's looking like she's losing this, but it has nothing to do with the claim that is being made. And if she does not agree with IUDs, she should go forward with whatever claim that leads her to. If she agrees with IUDs, she should say, I agree with IUDs, but we're not getting to the heart of the issue here and just move on. But people get like... these are normal people debating subjects that they probably don't debate on a daily basis, so they can't keep up.
More patriotic.
Well, I'd like to make it clear for the record that you didn't add a comment on that because you knew that
that you support killing babies. Okay, good. We're going to talk about IUD. Let's move on forward. What other actions have you seen that the Democratic Party has just showed? Again, I love America.
Of course, right? So, I mean, if you want to talk about...
She got voted off.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She was gonna go right.
Chivalry? Not that. All right, so you said that Democrats are more patriotic than Republicans.
Yes, because...
So, I would like to hear. So, how would you describe the epic failure with the Biden administration, and how would you see it as being patriotic in the way that we left Afghanistan?
Well, if you want to reference our Afghanistan pullout as not being patriotic, well, we should blame that on Trump because he is the one that organized the pullout.
That's actually wrong. He didn't.
He did.
I know the lawyers that worked with JAG for that operation, and it was a long strategic pullout.
And then she's getting fact-checked here to be proven correct that Trump's plan was a 14-month plan, whereas Biden sped things up,
Over the course of several years as the Biden administration.
We all know how that turned out.
Yeah, we all know how that turned out. Now the Taliban is like armed with so many of our military's resources. 13 of our service members died as we were pulling out. So, and Taliban has all new rules now that women can't sing in public or utilize their voices and all these different things. So they're doing great over there.
When they were going to leave, it was their operation with the military complex under Austin that pulled that out.
And again, because this is a value-based claim that somebody is more or less patriotic based on these different things, you can F up in Afghanistan and still be patriotic. You can do a really great job in Afghanistan and not be patriotic. There's a lot of different things going on here that don't substantiate the claim that's being made.
It was an epic failure. So are you agreeing that it was a failure?
Okay, well, I mean, if you seemingly know more than me about the pullout from Afghanistan, as far as I'm aware, that was organized under by Trump's administration.
Do you see giving the Qatari embassy to the Taliban as patriotic?
Well, I would like to just finish off here real quick. So you seemingly know more than me about our pullout from Afghanistan. I was under the
Do
impression.
you see what happened at Bagram Air Force Base as patriotic?
Okay, ma'am. Do you mind if I finish?
We'll see. We'll see. See if I can interrupt you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, just what I had hoped to say there was you seemingly know more than me about our pullout out of Afghanistan.
It was one of the largest events that happened after Biden took office, and also one of what I would consider one of the worst and most humiliating for America.
Okay. Well, if I can't like finish my statements, I don't see how we're going to be able to have productive conversation.
Do you know how many people are left, American citizens are left in Afghanistan?
I do not know how many American citizens are left in Afghanistan.
Are you familiar with any of the planes that have gone back to try and pull some of these people out? Do you know who's operating
not.
those planes?
So-
Do you know that the federal government isn't doing that it's nonprofit organizations?
She's just gonna keep going with this.
She's kind of giving him a taste of his own medicine, though, like
She
pulling
is.
all of these, highly specific facts and little bits of information that, of course, he's not going to be prepared for.
Yeah.
Which is what he's been doing to everyone else the whole time. So it's kind
Yeah,
of delicious to
you
see
know?
him get what he's been given.
Yeah, it's true. It's rare.
And that a lot of those nonprofit organizations were grounded in other countries and not allowed to enter in
Okay,
for
so
pullout operations.
all right, let's look at the
So
pullout.
patriotically speaking,
if I can't speak,
is
we're
that
not
something
gonna
that's
go anywhere.
patriotic to you? Is leaving someone behind patriotic?
Okay, well, if you will allow me to speak without.
I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
You're very quick with everybody else. Come on.
If you will allow me to speak without interruption, we'll be able to have a hopefully productive conversation.
Come on. Point.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, I'm seriously, I'm not going to be able to make a point if you keep interrupting me. Like that's just like we gotta.
No, you're stalling. You're stalling. Make your point. Was it patriotic?
Okay,
I'm asking
dude.
you, yes or no? Was that patriotic for you?
Okay.
Were you
Notice no
embarrassed
one's
by the
raising
fact
their
that's not
flags
not
either.
gonna
They're
be-
not letting
Yep,
him off the
they're
hook
like,
'cause they're
let
just
it.
like, finally.
Yeah, finally somebody's going after him in the same way that he's going after us. Let's hear it, because he would do all these things of like, let me give you super specific example and ask you if it's racist. Say yes or no. Say yes or no.
Well, to give you a yes or no answer, I'm gonna have to give you a fleshed out answer. I will address your point if you could.
Flushed out answer. You don't have a yes or no on patriotism, leaving people
Okay.
behind in Afghanistan.
So if you
a
will,
war that we spent over 20 years.
You're still not allowing me
fighting?
to talk here. Do you mind if I
I'm
finish?
waiting.
Do
Yes
you-
or no?
Well, it's not a yes or no question.
It
I
is
have
a
to
yes
give
or
you a
no
fully
question. I
fleshed out
asked you
answer.
yes or no. It's very
If you will-
direct.
if
Yes
you will-
or no.
Okay, so what
Was
you were
it
trying to do is you're
patriotic?
trying to force me into a
Was
yes or no
it
question when I can't even respond to the
patriotic?
claims that you've made.
Was it No, you're dancing around the question
Okay,
because you don't want to
okay,
answer it because
okay.
it's going to make you look bad.
So if
it
the
was
Afghanistan-
not patriotic, I think any American citizen can tell that it was not patriotic. It made us look bad. It was embarrassing. We all had doubts on what was going to happen under this administration, just based on that alone. And the fact that we still have people there, that's embarrassing.
Okay. All right. So if the Afghanistan pullout were to have occurred as the way that you described it, it would have been anti-patriotic. It would have been bad. 13 service members lost their lives. I don't think that they deserve to do that. I'm under the impression that Donald Trump had organized that pullout while he was president. It was
Never.
executed under the Biden-Harris administration.
Nope.
You're saying that's false. We'll leave it up to the fact checkers.
JAG
And then I'd also,
operated that,
please,
and they didn't use
hey, please.
Yo.
just let me finish. Please.
Oh,
Sorry for cussing. You can cut that out. Please just allow me to finish here.
that's not patriotic.
Okay, so I would still say that attempting to overthrow our federal government with the use of a coup to rig an election would be less.
What would you say to somebody? What would you?
Okay, she's all right.
Hey, welcome down. How you doing?
Okay, so I feel like a lot of what this question is holding is what is in the best for the American people, right?
Yes.
And like what is the most patriotic thing.
I like that.
And I feel like a lot of what has been discussed today, because I've heard it and a lot of people have said it, is, and then what you have addressed a lot is you don't think Trump is the best candidate, right? And then on top of that, I feel like the problem is with a lot of people right now is there's a lot of issues, a lot of hot topics, a lot of things that we could go over. And I think the problem
And
is
it is all subjective, and how we interpret them as being patriotic or not patriotic. What matters is if when you ask somebody, are you patriotic, do they say yes or no? And of course, Republicans say yes and Democrats say no. I feel like if we didn't even have, like, if we said Republicans can't serve in the military anymore, you basically have no military. These are people who are actively exercising their devotion to the U.S. and to the U.S. values. I mean, I don't know how you can argue. I just don't know how you can argue that Democrats are more patriotic.